Before beginning our webinar, on behalf of J.D.S.G College, Bokakhat Department of Education, we offer our warm wishes to all the participants come from different colleges or different institutions. And now first I want to introduce our faculty members of Education Department. I request Pranati Talukdar Baidu to introduce herself. Pranati Baidu, are you audible?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I am Pranati Talukdar, and I am the convener of the webinar COVID-19 and its impact on environment, organized by the Department of Education, J.D.S.G College, Bokakhat. On behalf of the department, I am very happy to welcome you, one and all, to the webinar. You all know millions of people have been affected by the COVID-19 epidemic around the world, with thousands stranded away from their homes in their own country. One of the many things which have been affected by COVID-19 is the environment. Nowadays, most of the cities, airports, and factories are under lockdown or being operated under several restrictions. As a result, emissions of polluting gases have been fallen quite a bit. But millions of people are also unemployed due to this pandemic, and economy of many countries have been crippled. In spite of these issues, this crisis would be a big opportunity to lower the emissions in the long term. For further discussion on this topic, we extend a hearty welcome to the research person, Dr. Bolendra Kumar Das, sir. We welcome you, sir. We also extend a warm welcome to Dr. Jayanta Gogoi, sir, Principal, J.D.S.G College, and our dear colleagues, teaching faculties from other institutions, students, and all of the participants. I am sure that this webinar will be a learning experience for everyone present here. I welcome you all once again and hope that you all will have a great time ahead. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our another faculty member, Chandrakanta Das sir. Sir, are you audible?
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Myself, Chandrakanta Das, Associate Professor, Department of Education. I'm happy to share with you all of the resource persons and participants. We welcome and thank you. I am Chandrakanta Das, Associate Professor. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to introduce our another faculty member, Ruli Khomikar Baidu. Baidu, are you audible? Baidu, Ruli Baidu, are you audible?
Yes, Namaskar.
Please give me.
Namaskar. Good morning, everybody. I am Ruli Khomikar, Department of Education, J.D.S.G College. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, we are going to start our webinar, and our principal sir already our head of the department given our welcome speech. Now I request Dr. Gogoi sir, Jayanta Gogoi sir, to inaugurate our webinar and give a speech.
Okay, thank you, Manjumani Neuk, for your introduction of our department faculties. So good morning. Honorable Dr. Bolendra Kumar Das sir, presently working as Director, Administration, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, former President of Assam College Principal Council and ex-principal, respected Mrs. Pranati Talukdar, Head of the Department of Education, Mrs. Manjumoni Neu, Coordinator of this national level webinar, respected teachers, participant, and my dear student. On behalf of the National Webinar Organizing Committee and the family of the college, I extend my hearty welcome to Professor Balendra Kumar Das sir and other invited guests to this one-day national level webinar organized by Department of Education of our college on COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on environment as well as education. So in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have organized number of international, national level as well as national level lecture program in our college as a part of our continuous pursuit beyond classroom interaction. As we know that MSRD, recently known as Higher Education Ministry, has recently sent email to our respective colleges regarding the involvement of our faculty students in online academic activities like webinar, lecture program, online classes, etc., etc. So at present we have our own experience of the impact of COVID-19 in our daily life as well as economy, education, business, governance, and etc. So we cannot expect 100% performance in this pandemic situations. So being the stakeholder in the higher education, we have to try ourselves to involve. So webinar, online classes, lecture program, etc. to strengthen the mental ability of our student community as well as faculty members. As we know that COVID-19 pandemic also severely disrupted the higher education in India, which is a vital part of our country's economic future. The country records 15 lakhs schools, 40 crore students, and 50,000 higher education institutions. More than 95% of students are affected in India by missing their classes during this pandemic situation. So if you see the percentage of children in the Indian population constitute 24%. So I am thankful to the Department of Education for organizing this national level webinar on environment and environmental education. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Balendra Kumar Das sir for giving his valuable time and academic efforts in this national level webinar. The resource person will certainly highlight the emerging dimension of COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the environment and education. We expect your participation and involvement in this webinar will be more meaningful and stimulating, and open the door to think new dimension of environmental education. With these words, I declare the inauguration of this national level webinar on COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on environment. Thanks to all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Jayanta Gogoi, sir. Now, the most awaited moment has come. We have with us our educationist, Dr. Bokakhat, sir. I like to introduce about me very shortly. We all know Dr. Bolendra Kumar Das, sir, an eminent academician. He was the former principal of Paschim Guwahati Vidyalaya and former president of Assam College Principals Council. At present, Dr. Das, sir, is the Director of Administration, University of Science and Technology in Meghalaya. So, my warm wishes to Dr. Das, sir, and I request Dr. Das, sir, to deliver his valuable speech. Sir, are you audible? Sir? Dr. Das, sir, are you audible?
Yeah, Manjumani, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Hello?
Thank you, sir.
Can you see me?
Yes,
Because
sir.
can you see me? I had put on my camera. Is it okay now?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Now, before going further, let me arrange my presentation. Hello? Hello, am I audible to all?
Sir, you are audible
Yes,
to
sir.
all.
Okay, have you seen my slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, that's good. Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure and privilege for me to deliver this lecture in this pandemic situation. As the principal of this great institution has said it and he has inaugurated, in his inaugural speech, he has dealt with the situation we are facing. So now formally, respected principal of J.D.S.G College Bokakhat, HOD Education, faculty members of education and other faculty members, guests present there, participants from different parts, researchers, my dear students. Once again, it's a great pleasure and privilege for me to be here today in front of you to present this webinar where everybody is compelled because of the prevailing situation. As all of us we know, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we are having so many impacts in so many spheres. I'll be restricting myself to describe the impact on environment only, but as all of us we know that environment covers everything. Because COVID-19 pandemic has impacted our whole societal fabric. Its impact on our education, on our economy, on our socio-political situations, etc., is all known to us. Here, when we say about COVID-19, actually what was or what is COVID-19? When you say COVID, it's a combination of three parts of letters. CO stands for corona, VI for the virus, and D for the disease. So it's a coronavirus disease 19. It was formerly referred as 2019 novel coronavirus or 2019 nCoV. Later it was called as SARS-CoV-2, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. These were the designation or names given in different schedule of time. It was first identified amid an outbreak as an respiratory illness in Wuhan city, as all of you know, of the Hubei province in China. It was first has seen its outbreak down there, and WHO, World Health Organization, has reported this on 31st of December 2019. Later, again on 30th of January 2020, World Health Organization declared COVID-19 outbreak a global health emergency. Till that point, it was not declared as pandemic. But later, on 11th of March 2020, World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic. Why pandemic? Because when you say pandemic, that means it was having its impact or effect across the different countries of the globe, and that's why World Health Organization was compelled to designate it as pandemic. Now we come to the aspects of the environment. As all of you know, that environment comprises of the wholesome water, air, land, and a human being, other living creatures, plants, microorganisms, and interrelationship which exists among them. Because as all of us will know that we, the animals, are not the producer of our own food. Plants, with the help of the solar energy, by the process of photosynthesis, they produce their own food, and we are the consumers only after production from the plant community. And when we say about the factors of the environment, we find two broad-based factors. These are biotic, means living, and abiotic, means non-living environment. But all of us, we know that even if your human body is a composition of biotic and abiotic factor. Nowadays, when this pandemic has made an entry at that point, so many things are coming up to build up your immunity in your body, and the suggestive metals were like you have to take so many tablets and other things where zinc is available, potassium is available, etc. etc. And when we talk about the types of environment, we can say the biotic, abiotic, as I have described, then sociocultural and psychological. When we say sociocultural, you know the impact in the environment of the socio-cultural activities, and of course there is always a psychological time. As this testing time, we have seen when the whole world is reeling under corona, we have seen so many psychological cases are coming up, so many depression cases are coming up, so many suicidal activities are going on. So these all things or different types of the environmental impact it could have. And when we talk about the segments of global environment, as a whole, we say that the whole biosphere, it has been divided into three major parts. One is the whole water bodies of the world, that is hydrosphere, the whole soil of the earth or the globe, that is the lithosphere, and as we see above us and below the sky, the whole atmosphere is there, and that is known as the atmosphere. So these are the main components where the impact can be studied from different angle by different scientists from their different perspective. When we talk about impact on environment, on nature, up to 2020, we have seen that greenhouse gases were increasing. The amount of greenhouse gases, as we know that carbon dioxide and all carbon compounds, and sulfur dioxide and sulfur compounds, etc., are known as greenhouse gases, produced since the beginning of the industrialization era, from the end of the, from the middle of the 19th century, and in the whole 20th century, we have seen massive industrialization in the world. And it has caused average global temperatures on the earth to rise. Continuously, we have seen that every year the global temperature is rising, causing effects including the melting of the glaciers on the polar regions. In two poles, in north and southern poles, we have seen there's a massive melting of the glaciers, and that's why the level of the sea is rising day by day. In numerous ways, only and only human activities caused environmental degradation and anthropogenic impact. How? Because of the activities of human beings, we are destructing our environment day by day in different ways. We have seen in the name of development, in the name of building surface transport areas, in the name of air transportation, every day we are degrading our environment. And the massive one is the environmental degradation in the name of deforestation. And we have seen the result of deforestation all over the world. And you have seen in our Assam what is happening nowadays because of this deforestation. The anthropogenic impact is, we have seen this just next to, in the backside of your J.D.S.G Bokakhat college, you'll find Numuligor, and there day one, day in and day out, you are seeing what? You are seeing man-elephant country. This is nothing but because of the environmental degradation done by us in the name of development. And that's why this anthropogenic impact is always there, because we are saying that elephants are coming to the human habitation. No, that is not true. Actual truth is human beings are encroaching the places of elephants, encroaching the wild habitat of the elephants, encroaching the wild lands were very virgin and no one was residing there. So, positive and negative indirect effects of COVID-19 on the environment can be, classified as it is. Indirectly, you know how lockdown policies are linked to improvements in air quality, clean beaches, and less environmental noises. Here, so many questions comes up. We have seen during this lockdown period that the environment is day by day cleaning up. The quality of the air is improving. But friends, look into the gravity of the problem. Why the air was disturbed? Why the quality of air was bad and negative for us? Because of our activities. And it was not in a single day. After the activities of day by day, month by month, year by year, we have built this bad quality air. But one question mark is always there. Can you think that lockdown of 6 months can make or recover the damages made in hundreds of years, in a century? So, though we see the indirect positive effect in the environment, it is we, the human being, has to take care to keep up clean beaches, to make air quality good, to make less noises in the environment in a phased out manner, because of the fact that if we think that lockdown has presented a newer art to us, a new world to us, then friends, we are the people who has destroyed it. And today we are saying that out of lockdown we are getting a new day. Might be everybody was counting this as a positive effect. We have seen that increased waste and the reduction of recycling are negative side effects of COVID-19. Though the industrial waste are not increasing during these days because of the fact that industries are closed down. But the fact is, reduction of recycling activities will definitely affect our environment. We have seen, as Principal Dr. Joyanta Gogoi is here, he knows that we have seen in Japan, near Tokyo, how they are recycling the every day's junk coming out in the cities. In the Tokyo cities, they have divided in so many sectors, and every day they collect the junks. They collect all those, thrown out everything to their centers, and they recycle it, and after recycling, they go for preparation of different things, including your clothing. And one thing which has been seen as a blessing in disguise, that is decreasing greenhouse gases, but during a short period is not a sustainable way to clean up the environment. That's what I feel. We are saying that greenhouse gases are decreasing. But friends, it is not the time to say that they are decreasing, because a short period is not a sustainable way to clean up the environment. We need a long period, because of the fact that the whole environment was disturbed by us in a very, very long period of centuries. So only 2 or 3 or 6 months can't help us with that. We're talking about air quality now. Due to the coronavirus outbreak, in fact, there is an effect on travel and tourism. Whole travel and tourism industry has been impacted. Many regions and globally as a whole experienced a drop in air pollution, because all those commercial flights are not flying, excepted the goods carrier. The passengers are not traveling because of this lockdown. So we are getting fresh air quality because of that. But again, I stand by with my point that after not going 6 months by air, if you increase the activity in the next 6 months, then it will be in Sanskrit as said, Punah Musika Bhava. Again, the same situation will come up if we do not control it. Reducing air pollution can reduce both climate change and COVID-19. Yes. But it is not yet clear which types of air pollution, if any, are common risks to both climate change and COVID-19. Sometimes back, there was speculation that COVID-19 virus has been in the air even. But that was a speculation. This theory has not been established. So we don't know how this lockdown period will affect in, or it can reduce the air pollution or the climate change. As you know, climate change is also not a thing of one day or 2 days or a month. The whole climate is changing because of our activities. And today, when we say that reducing air pollution can change the climate, then I don't know whether it will be correct at this point. The Center for Research for Energy and Clean Air reported that methods to contain the spread of coronavirus, such as quarantine and travel bans, resulted in a 25% reduction of carbon emission in China. This is a study which has been done only in China. This is not a global study, but of course, I think they have extended their studies in global perspective. The Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air, they have reported that this ban, travel bans and quarantine, has resulted in 25% reduction of the carbon emissions. So again, I stand by my previous point that yes, we agree. Maybe 25% reduction has been resulted. But friends, are we prepared for another lockdown of another 6 months? Because you have to have a synergy between the economy and lockdown. We have seen how lockdown has affected the whole economy of the world and especially India, and we can see in Assam. We have seen lots of people walking outside, they are coming to their home, but they are not getting the desired job and they can't use their skills, whatever they are having, or they will be walking outside. So in that case, it's not sure that this study, whatever they are saying that it resulted in a 25% reduction of carbon emission, will be applicable globally. Between 1st January and 11 March 2020, the European Space Agency observed a marked decline in nitrous oxide emissions from automobiles, power plants, and factories. In the Po Valley, this is Po Valley region in northern Italy. As most of us, we know that Po Valley in Italy is in the northern region, and it is the valley where most of the industrial activities and agricultural activities are going on in Italy. So this has been reported by European Space Agency that there is a decline in nitrous oxide emission. But friends, I don't know whether this study or this impact can be globally thought that in Po Valley, there is a result of less or declining nitrous oxide. So that can be, compared with the industries in Gujarat or Maharashtra or Assam or. But these are the things which is going on, and we are very thankful that some agencies like European Space Agency, Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air, they are doing their bit to help the world community so that we can get a better world, and they are doing their research on that line. These days, water quality has been affected. When we talk about the impact on nature or environment, I told you that soil, water, and air is the three biospheric components. So in water, what happened? Most of the Atlantic and Lotic habitat are clearer post-lockdown. Yes, we do agree. Most of the Atlantic habitats are those habitats where the water is stagnant, like the lakes, as we have seen the ponds here in Assam. Those are the water bodies where the water is stagnant. And the Lotic habitats are those habitats where the water is flowing, like all the rivers, all the tributaries of Brahmaputra itself. there we see the flowing waters. So post-lockdown, it has been observed that the water quality is day by day cleaner. The water in the canals cleared and experienced greater water flow. Yes, of course it is. We have seen after this lockdown period so many canals in the northern India, in Punjab or Rajasthan or many, UP, in those areas where lots of irrigation canals are there, it has been cleared, and of course this monsoon also helped to clear up. Sea beaches are globally clean due to less human interference. This is a very good impact on nature of COVID-19, so to say. We have seen lots and lots of cleaner beaches across the globe. And these beaches, if we can keep it like today's condition, that will be a great contribution of COVID to us. That is positive contribution of COVID-19. That the world community is cleaning their beaches where tons and tons of different trashes were thrown out. The increase in water clarity was due to the settling of sediments that is disturbed by boat traffic and mentioned the decrease in air pollution along the waterways. It has been seen in Venice that the water clarity is much more. Sometimes back we're seeing in WhatsApp that they were giving some swans were swimming in the canals of Venice. Of course, I don't know whether it is authentic or not, but we have seen it, yes. And we have seen in different parts of our sun, in different fields, in different water bodies, in different rivers, lots of migratory birds has flocked there because of the cleaner environment. And like cities like Venice or other cities where, or you see the Sydney, you will find that lots of boat rows over in the cities itself. So when the boat traffic is stopped, then due to this, clarity was due to the settling of the sediments. When there will be water traffic, then there will be always disturbance in the sediments. But if there is no water traffic, then sediments will definitely settle down. We have seen very good impact in the wildlife area. Demand for fish and fish prices have decreased due to the pandemic, and fishing fleets around the world sit mostly idle. Not only on the rivers, but in the seashores. It has been seen that people are not venturing out for fishing, and demand of fish was also decreasing globally, and the fish prices was also decreased, and we can attribute it as a COVID-19 impact. As people stayed at home due to lockdown and travel restrictions, some animals have been spotted in cities. Sea turtles were spotted laying eggs on the beaches they once avoided, such as the coast of the Bay of Bengal. As we all know, in the coast of Bay of Bengal, in Orissa, we have seen that olive ridley turtle has come up and they were laying eggs. It has been seen for 10 to 12 years that the olive ridley turtles were coming up to the beach, of course, but on the night, not during the day. So they have started coming during the day for laying eggs. That means there was less disturbance in the beaches of Orissa, and that's why the sea turtles named olive ridley is coming for laying eggs. Conservationists expect that African countries will experience a massive surge in bushmeat poaching. Yes, of course, we have seen that in Africa, always there is a tendency in African countries, they always go for the bushmeat poaching, like they're killing hares, these pygmy hogs, and all those rabbits, etc. Nowadays, conservationists finding out that this surge, that's a negative impact of COVID, because they can't go to the forest for massive killing of the bigger animals. So the bush meat poaching is increasing there. In South Africa, poaching will go up for high value products like rhino horn and ivory. It has been seen, even if in our own Kaziranga we have seen that just 3 days back another rhino was killed. So due to the poverty condition of this lockdown period, due to the imbalance in economy, people will come up for poaching, and that will be definitely on the highly priced, highly valued products like rhino horn, ivory, and the bones of tigers, etc. Gabon, a country in South Africa, decided to ban the human consumption of bats and pangolins to stem the spread of zoonotic diseases, as the novel coronavirus is thought to have transmitted itself to humans through these animals. So they have banned the meat of pangolin or bats in their countries. That's a good thing. This will be a conservation aspect, and we hope the bat population and pangolin population will be increasing in the countries where they have banned poaching and its meat. Deforestation and afforestation. Because of this COVID-19 situation, the disruption from the pandemic provided cover for illegal deforestation operations. Yes, we have seen in Assam even. As the whole general public is inside their home because of this lockdown, some of the people or criminals, they were under the cover of this pandemic or lockdown doing the deforestation activities. This was observed in Brazil, where satellite imagery showed deforestation of the Amazon rainforest surging by over 50% compared to baseline levels. So this is a very negative effect of COVID-19 in our environment. Deforestation is increasing in Amazon rainforest, as we all know that what will happen if there is no rainforest. And next is unemployment caused by COVID-19 pandemic facilitated the recruitment of laborers for Pakistan's 10 billion tree tsunami campaign to plant 10 billion trees. The estimated global annual net loss of trees over the span of 5 years. So, unemployment caused by the COVID-19 pandemic facilitated government like Pakistan to go for massive plantation. They have planned for, as we say, tsunami in seas. They were saying that they will go for plantation tsunamis. So for these tsunamis, with this, 10 billion tree tsunami, excuse me, there's a campaign to plant 10 billion trees and estimated global annual net loss of trees to 10 billion, and they want to do it within 5 years. Just a minute. We talked about carbon emission. A study published in May 2020, found that the daily global carbon emissions during the lockdown measures in early April fell by 17% and could lead to an annual carbon emission decline of up to 7%. It's a very, very good sign. We should be the biggest drop since World War II. After World War II, this drop down will be the biggest drop down of carbon emission, and if we can control the carbon emission, then it will be a big impact on climate change. Decreases mainly due to the reduction of transportation, uses and industrial activities. So this decrease is due to the reduction of transportation and industrial activities. As all of us will know that industries are the main contributor to the environment of different gases. However, it has been noted that rebounding could diminish reductions due to upsurge of industrial activities after unlock. The same thing I have just now told you, friends. I was not predicting, but I was telling that if due to the upsurge of industrial activities again, we have to go to square one, back to the pavilion of this pollution situations. Societal shift caused by the coronavirus lockdowns like widespread telecommunicating and use of virtual conferences technology may have a more sustained impact. Today, while we are sitting in the comfort of our home and enjoying this webinar, you have to indirectly give thanks to COVID-19, because when physically we were doing so many activities, at that point we never remembered for this virtual meetings. This virtual conference technology is indirectly had given a sustainable impact on us globally, because at this point, one thing I would like to mention here, that if this virtual conference technology would have not been developed, then what would have been happening to us? We would not get the chance of getting different resource persons, excuse me, across the globe, coming to Bokakhat College or Kanoi College or J.D.S.G College or Bokakhat College, and they were talking to us from New York, from Sydney, from Tokyo, from London, etc. So, indirectly, this is a very, very good impact of this COVID-19. Excuse me, I would like to have a little bit of water, then I will continue. Just give me a second, please. Sorry for this inconvenience. Now, a study published in May 2020 found that the daily global carbon emission, as you have said, I have already said to you, and this virtual conference technology has helped us a lot to be another impact of COVID-19. Retail and agri-production. By COVID-19, we have seen that lots of small growers, small agri-producers, small farmers were helped. Small-scale farmers have been embracing digital technologies. Before, they were not so techno-savvy. They were not doing anything through digital technology. But nowadays, through Amazon or through Swiggy or through different, big companies, some small-scale farmers are coming up and they are supplying agricultural products, fruits, vegetables, etc. to different households. This is another impact on our nature, on our environment, on our human nature by COVID-19. Community-supported agriculture and direct sale delivery systems are on the rise. We have seen that small farmers from the villages, they're coming up to the nearby towns to sell their product. Of course, in Assam, it was there. But if you compare the other parts of the world, that you will see in European countries, the small farmers, they were supposed to produce and give it to the bigger one, and they will go and they will sell in malls and they will have a household delivery system. But it has been seen in European countries that now these small-scale farmers are coming up and they are delivering it door to door. Benefits to smaller online grocery stores which predominantly sell organic excuse me, sell organic and more local food. We have seen that the small time farmers and the small time grocery stores, they are getting this benefit of selling organic and local foods. Weekly grocery deliveries can be better choice than individual trips to a store. When we are supposed to go outside during this COVID situation, you have to go with your hand sanitize, wearing your mask, having a head seal, and so many precautions, even if sometimes you have to wear a disposable cap. So those things can be avoided if your food stuff is delivered on your doorstep. So going out every time has been reduced due to this COVID-19, and weekly grocery deliveries are coming to your doorstep, and you are helping in turn these small grocery stores owners or the small scale farmers. Online grocery shopping has grown substantially during the pandemic. So this is a good impact of COVID-19. You know, for us, even if we are in Guwahati, the nerve center of northeastern India and capital city of Assam, we have seen that character-wise, we're littering the whole city with our garbages. Friends, as a consequence of the unprecedented use of disposable face masks, significant number of masks were discarded in the natural environment, adding to the worldwide burden of plastic waste. Again, you have seen so many masks, so many PPE kit had been disposed of to the environment. And we have seen that hospital waste like PPE kit, etc., has posed a hazard for public health because they are not properly disposed. These are littering the environment. This has posed another problem. This is the impact of COVID-19. This is a negative impact. Friends, all of us will know what is happening to our economy and investment. Some have noted that planned stimulus packages could be designed to speed up economy, renewable energy transitions, and to boost energy resilience. Excuse me, as I was not well, so I have to take some water in between. Anyway, excuse me. Some researchers have noted that planned stimulus packages could be designed to speed as well as cycling and walking during and after the pandemic. World Youth has repeatedly requesting the world community that instead of going for the regular traffic, you go for cycling. And this is that outcome, I think I have written later, that one of the packages principles, do no harm to the environment, was along with this public transport systems. So they were encouraging cycling and walking. And friends, it's a great moment that different governments in European countries, they are allocating budgetary amount for preparing cycling and walking tracks along their routes. European Union has said that the money will be spent only on projects that meet some green criteria. 25% of all fundings will go to climate change mitigation. Fossil fuels and nuclear power are excluded from the funding. So, the European Union has given funds for mitigating climate change, and they are giving funds for building new cycling and walking track along the roads, which has been started in Sweden and countries like Switzerland and Italy. Some sources of revenue for environmental projects, such as indigenous communities, monitoring rainforest and conservation projects, diminished due to the pandemic. Of course, yes, because of this pandemic, this has been diminished, and indigenous communities monitoring rainforest and conservation projects in Africa, it is just suffered due to this pandemic. Research and development. Despite a temporary decline in global carbon emissions, the International Energy Agency warned that the economic turmoil caused by the coronavirus outbreak may prevent or delay companies and others from investing in green energy research and development. So, we can think it wholeheartedly that companies and others from they are preventing or investing. International Energy Agency has time and again said it that you have to invest in green energy. But due to this pandemic situation, different companies and others are delaying their project for investment in green energy research and development. So this is a bad impact of COVID-19. Extended quarantine periods have boosted adoption of remote research for policies. Yeah, some extent it has been seen that this extended quarantine periods boosted in adoption of remote research work policies, but especially the first world country or developed country, they are doing these things. For the third world countries like us, this has no impact on us. Weather focused. The European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecast, ECMWF, announced that a worldwide reduction in air traffic flights due to the pandemic would impact the accuracy of weather forecast, citing commercial airlines' use of aircraft meteorological data. Here, AMDAR or aircraft meteorological data as an integral contribution to weather forecast accuracy. So they were mentioning one thing, that when those commercial flights were flying in the height of 35,000 feet above the sea level, they were helpful for meteorological data. Now, this has been affected due to the non-flying of these flights. So, this has been said by European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecast. But in case of us, we can think it in different way, friends, that satellite data are working wholeheartedly to substantiate this. If there is no aircraft flying in 35,000 or 30,000 feet above the sea level, the satellites are up there and they were monitoring all the weather forecasting. The European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecast predicted that aircraft meteorological data relay coverage would decrease by 65% or more due to the drop in commercial flights. Yes, we agree with this, but we do not agree that this drop will impact in the meteorological data relay. Politics and global policies. Yes, it has been affected or impacted by this COVID-19. It's impacting the whole environment of the world, so politics and policies cannot be outside it. The pandemic has also impacted environmental policy and climate diplomacy. As the 2020 United Nations Climate Change Conference was postponed to 2021 in response to the pandemic after its venue was converted to a field hospital. And you know, when we talk about field, we talk about sports, and because of this pandemic, the 2020 Tokyo Olympic has been postponed. This conference was crucial as nations were scheduled to submit enhanced national determined contributions to the Paris Agreement. In the climate change Paris Agreement, it has been decided that all countries will contribute, and this particular 2020 summit or 2020 United Nations Climate Change Conference was supposed to have the commitment of different countries for contributions. But unluckily, it could not be done, and it will be done. It will be done on 2020. The pandemic also limits the ability of nations, particularly developing nations with low state capacity, to submit nationally determined contributions as they are focusing on the pandemic. Of course, yes. The world community was expecting that in nationally determined contribution on climate change conference would have been more, but the third world and developing countries are spending their national GDP's income for the control of COVID-19. So now that situation is not there, that they will be able to contribute more in the climate change activities. Now we can think about the rebound effect or the prediction made. The restarting of greenhouse gas producing industries and transport following the COVID-19 lockdown was hypothesized as an event that would contribute to increase greenhouse gas production rather than reducing it. As I have said you before, friends, that the rebounding effect, or when these industries which are closed will come up again with full swing of their activities, then we think that it will have. Am I audible to everyone? Hello? 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 Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, so thank you so much. So, just I am having another slide, and I will be just coming to conclude the session, right? In the transport sector also, the pandemic could trigger several effects, including behavioral changes such as more teleworking and teleconferencing, and changes in business models, which could in turn translate in reduction of emissions from transport. Yes, that's very true. Today, if it would have been a normal situation, I would have been invited by your principal to your college. So by traveling from Guwahati to Bokakhat by car, I would have emitted some gases to the environment. But this COVID-19 has given us to have a second thought that we can reduce emissions of transportation gases if we can restrict our travel. On the other hand, there could be a shift away from public transport driven by fear of contagion and reliance on single occupancy cars, we should significantly increase emissions. Again, that is another point. Before, we used to go in shared taxis. But today, if everything becomes normal for a year or a couple of years, no one will feel like going in a shared taxi, and they will just have their own car, and that will be a single occupancy. So again, that will in turn will have an effect of emissions from transports to the environment. So, however, city planners are also creating new cycle paths in some cities during the pandemic. As I have said it, that during the pandemic, certain cities like in Athens, like in Sweden, they are planning new cycle paths for the commuters. Physiology and risk perception. This is my last slide. And before I say thank you to all, see the physiology and risk perceptions. South and the negative effects of COVID-19 pandemic may have made a catastrophic future seem less remote, and action to prevent it more necessary. This timidness, this fear among the different section of the people will have a long catastrophic impact on us in our future, in the future of our children. So we have to take care of it. However, it may also have the opposite effect by having minds focused on the more immediate threat of the pandemic rather than the climate crisis. So it may be other way around, that we may have the impact of another, other way around thinking that this impact of SARS, this impact of COVID-19, this impact of the pandemic can have some psychological changes, and the risk perception as different guardians are seeing in their homes where they are having their growing children. It's very difficult to keep the children at home without school for last 6 months almost. So those things will have some psychological impact. With this, I come to an end of this session. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. And now the organizer can make it open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It is very interactive and attractive session.
Okay.
Sir, now it is very interactive and attractive, sir. Now we are going to start our interaction session.
Yeah.
We have so many questions from our participants.
Yeah. Please
first of all, sir, one participant has put a question to us. The first question is, how can we improve the educational environment which is affected by COVID-19?
See, basically what educational institution is doing, that in the onset of this COVID-19, every institution was engaged with their virtual classes and different things. But for us, a state like Assam, we know that so many, like 3,000 students are there in J.D.S.G. Out of this 3,000 might be 1,500 or 50% they don't have an Android mobile. So many teachers are doing the innovative ideas of engaging them. Of course, the students who can come to the college or who can have or purchase an Android mobile, they can doing their bit. But what about the students who doesn't have those capacities to buy an Android mobile? So there what happened, I'll just stop presenting and I'll go like this. This will be better for you, I think. I'll pin it down. Yeah. Now it's okay, I think.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So what we can do is we can instruct our students that the students who doesn't have the capacity for going for an Android mobile or the virtual classes, they should contact their head of the institutions and they should come up with following all the government measures of wearing masks, etc., and using sanitizers, and they should keep contact with their teachers telephonically, and they should get their, academic courses or syllabuses, uh, all academic materials, what they should have. That is my suggestion to them. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Next question, please.
Sir, the next question is from another participant.
Right.
In a couple of Indian cities and towns, acute shortage of water. It is the high time to think it seriously. What are the steps that the government need to take to save the country from water crisis?
No, that's a different question, nothing related with COVID-19. We know that some 20 years back, it was predicted that the next world war will be for water only. So for water crisis, we have to take many measures. First of all, the water harvesting method is the first and foremost what has been done in different northeastern states. Like if you go to Shillong, you will see that everyone, if they are having there are some type houses, they are doing the water harvesting to use for daily course of life. So that way, for preservation of the groundwater, we have seen in Guwahati even that the groundwater level is going down, 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 down. So in that case, you have to take care about that, and researching the groundwater is the first and foremost thing. And for that, we have to go for water harvesting, and that should be in the building construction code, so that every building is constructed newly, they must have the modern water harvesting systems. Thank you. Next question, please. Hello. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Next question, please. I think I have
The
answered.
next question is,
Yeah.
what? Yes, sir. What will be intentional education in this COVID-19 pandemic situation?
I can hear you clearly, Manju. Can you repeat the question, please? No, some of the mics are on, or what? I can listen you clearly. I can hear you clearly. Please try. Carry
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir. Are you audible?
Yeah, now I am listening you. Hello? Hello? Manju? Hello? Yes, I'm listening.
Hello,
you.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Please,
are you
next.
listening, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, the next question is, what will be the importance of environmental education in this COVID-19 pandemic situation?
Oh, it's a, really
What
lovely.
will be importance of?
I understand. It's a
Yes,
lovely
sir.
question, and that is what needed to think by our students and researchers. Environmental
Yes.
education will be having the prime importance during this COVID-19, because the whole environmental education is having the different varieties of researchers from physics, chemistry, biology, geology, geography, and whatnot. And also, of course, from the humanities, economics, and statistics, mathematics are there. So here, the environmental studies will be on the topmost and peak of its days. In the coming days, I think that environmental studies will be a prime subject for researchers and for the academicians. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir.
Next question.
The next question is, how can we improve the educational environment which is already lapsed due to COVID-19 pandemic situation?
See, we have tried a lot with these virtual classes and other electronic gadgets, but everybody understands one fact, that is not easy if you are not going to the classrooms. So, the physical nature of education cannot be compensated with electronic gadgets or this type of virtual classes. So that's why the need of the hour is, please restrict all the students and teaching community to the virtual classes and advise your students, if they are nearby, the nearby students should contact you over phone, and they should come down to your place with all government following all government rules and regulations, and they should have in contact with the teachers, because the physical classes cannot be compensated by the virtual classes. Thank you.
Sir, here is another question from
Yes.
one of participants. How we can get rid of as underdeveloped nation in world's perspective?
See, the basic tool of development is education. When Tony Blair took the charge of Prime Minister of England, he was asked by the different media persons that, sir, what will be your top priority? He said, education, education, and education. So today I am repeating it again. To be a developed country from underdeveloped position, we have to have education in our society from grassroots level. It is not that everyone has to be a NASA scientist. It's not that everyone has to be a first class first in his examination, but the basic education is needed for all quarter of the society so that we can uplift our society. And that education will give. See, today what happened? For COVID-19, we are asking to wear masks. But some people on the streets, you will see that they are not caring for them. Why? Because they don't understand. Why? Because they don't have that much of education to understand the implication of COVID-19, which can kill him. So that's why the top priority should be in education. Thank you. Hello? Hello? Monju? Hello?
Sir, hello.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. The last question, sir. Another
Okay.
question, the last question.
Yes.
What will be challenges to educational and in the post COVID-19 period? What are the challenges, sir?
What are the challenges for?
Particularly educational.
Okay. For
What will be
academics?
challenges?
Hmm.
Particular educational environment.
Yeah. The challenges before education is massive. As you know, we're in a environment of mature people in colleges, but though we say that the students having the age group of 17 plus to 22 plus in our colleges, they are the most volatile section of the society. They're having many horsepower of energy with them. They can do whatever they want to do, and they can do whatever they feel like. So in that case, it's a massive challenge for people who are in academics, especially the teachers, right from KG to PG. You have to guide your students in proper direction so that they can help the society. One thing is always there, that before you loving your country, try to love your own mother. John F. Kennedy has said one thing: don't ask what your country has given to you. Ask what you have given to your country. And that should be the principle of academician from KG to PG, that let us think of giving to the society by means of education so that we can overcome this special situation of COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
so
sir, for your response.
Thank you
We
so
have
much.
so many questions, but due to shortage of time,
Yeah,
we want to end our interaction session.
thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for your response, and you have spent valuable time for us. Again, we offer you thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
Now, we come to the end of the part of the webinar, and I request our faculty member, Chandrakanta Das sir, to provide vote of thanks.
Thank you, Manjamani New. Thank you for your well coordination. It's my privilege and great pleasure to share and compliment with vote of thanks in this occasion on behalf of Department of Education to all the stakeholders. First, it's my privilege to offer our thanks to our principal, sir, J.D.S.G, Bokakhat, for your regular inspiration to hold this webinar. And thank you, Honorable Resource Person, sir. I am pleased to offer my heartiest thanks to you on behalf of Education Department, J.D.S.G Bokakhat.
Thank you very much.
You have given so much valuable information to all participants. Thank you, sir. Respected participants, your cooperation given us big support and make us success of this occasion. Thank you all the participants. My dear respected technicians, you all assisted us many ways for success of this occasion. Thank you. Thank you, Sasanko, my colleague, Pavan, Ujjal, Raja, and others. Thank you, everyone. At the end, my heartiest thanks to everyone who shared with us for success of this webinar. Thank you, my esteemed colleague of my department, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, we are at the end of our webinar. And again, I want to gratitude to all who respond us. We provide a feedback link in our chat box. Please fill up this and send to us. And we will there. Thank you, Dr. Bolandra sir again and Principal sir. And we want to end our webinar, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure. And I do hope that it has become a great success. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bolendo Kumar Das sir.
Thank you, Zventra.
Thank you for your giving us valuable times and academic effort. Thank you. Looking forward to hear you again. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.